Good evening, folks. Thank you for coming back to another video of Tony Montana. I was talking to a couple of people today, and one of the things that kind of like, obviously, I take it as a compliment that I know a lot of, according to them, I know a lot about the American Pitbull Terrier, um, and that they are appreciative that I freely talk about, my what I believe, what the things I see, and make it public. A lot of people would prefer this to be a secret. People things about the dogs to be secretive. Keep your secrets. But my way of thinking is, I could tell you things that I know, but I can't make you think how I think. Okay, so like a person. And I'm not saying you are taking it, but like a person that takes somebody's invention. Well, you could take the invention, but you can't take the inventor. The inventor is the one that creates these stuff of things. So I'm not creating it, just an example. So I'm happy to give my thoughts and my views, what I've learned hands on, or how if I learned it through books, through other people. So there's different ways of learning, and it's just levels of knowing. I know that there's a lot of people above me that know a lot about American People Terriers or dogs in general, and that's exactly what I basically want to talk about today. I'm not sure how long this is going to take, but I want to talk about, if you don't have an American Pitbull Terrier, how can you become a better Pitbull owner? Or in general, because Pitbulls are dogs, how can you be a better owner when you do get a chance to own an American Pitbull Terrier? Well, obviously, there's going to be levels to that American Pitbull Terrier. When you get them, you seldom get top shelf American Pitbull Terriers unless you're getting it from a commercial place, and I'm not considering that in top shelf, but it at least bloodline related should be an American Pitbull Terrier. Of obviously, when I talk about American Pitbull Terrier, I'm referring to game bred American Pitbull Terriers. So how could you learn to be a better owner? Well, one of the things I suggest is learn more about dogs. Learn about dog behavior. And how would you do this? Well, there are books about them, and there's videos about them. There's different many channels in YouTube that promote understanding of the of the dog psychology or dog mannerism, reading the dog, dog I guess dog behavior, to this and that, nutrition. So many things that you can learn, that you can learn while you're still waiting for that American Pitbull Terrier. So if you really want to be a good owner, don't wait until you have one, and do it right away. I've mentioned my experience with the American Pitbull Terrier, but I've never mentioned my experience with dogs in general, because some people just disregard that as, the American Pitbull Terrier is not really a dog. It's something different, something special. I know, and definitely I agree with that, something special. But before, they are American Pitbull Terriers, they are dogs. So the American Pitbull Terrier is the part of the specialty side of the dog. Each dog from different with genetic manipulations have turned to different specialties. But in the essence, the core still is a dog. Still has the nature of that dog, and it really matters how you raise the dog in the first 6 months of life. The first 6 months of life is when all the brain connections are happening. Okay, so if you really want to, if you only have a limited amount of time, that you have to choose how to teach your dog, to raise your dog, to make him what the dog is going to be, it's the first 6 months. You can't make that. You can't make a dog fly. Obviously, you can't go against something that's impossible. But again, at least you can connect or things that you want them to be. Like, for example, this type of scenario, I could only do this because I made those connections early, and you guys were you guys met this pup dog when he was a puppy, and he's, as I said, he's 4 generations top and bottom of working dogs, and I want to prove with the best genetics working, that I can, that this can happen, so you can have with carefulness, being careful, you can find a way to make your dogs be okay with other dogs within the house or within the pack, if you want to call it that way. You don't, obviously, you do have to be very careful. I did come, learn doing this came with bumps and bruises, not mine. More like between the dogs. Yes, there were accidents, and yes, I am always careful. But I'm more attentive. You definitely have to be attentive when they're around, but it has become like second nature to me now, that even every little sound has a meaning. Every sound that they make with, between each other, how they it's a meaning. It has an intensity. It has a feeling to it. Is it fun, or is it getting annoying, or is it getting bothersome, or is it getting angry? Different sounds. It's different things, and you can learn all this by learning about dogs. If you have had many dogs in your life, literally not just like not in like our country, some other, or maybe in in the South, I would say in my country, dogs a lot of times are outside, or just they're there depending on how you live. If you live in the country, they come in and out, or they're just outside, and they oh, that's my dog because he sticks around, whatever. Here you get to know each one. Each one of these animals, these dogs, has a personality. Here's the other one. Has a personality. Okay, and I have to treat them, very carefully. For example, this female here, that she is my shy girl. She's my timid girl. She's my very fragile female, and I learned, that I need to be careful screaming at her, because she's going to, she's going to shut down. She's going to, curl up. A lot of animal activists will say, "Oh, she's being abused," and I apologize to say, and I'm sorry, but no, she's not. She's just that's just how genetically she was wired, and I've tried different ways, but she's very good. She isn't. She isn't. I know how much to push her in terms of trying to take her out of her cocoon. So I let her be. That's just her personality, and she just, luckily, because she's with me, she did not be. She's not becoming a people biter. Because explaining in another video, different types of fear, or different types of different types of people biters. That's what I meant to say. I've spoken about people biters, different types, and that's one of them. A fear aggression or fear biting it's a real thing. But I know she will. Worst case scenario, she just curl up, and instead of snap and like, leave me alone, I'm dying. But once again, if you want to be a better dog owner and you don't have pit bulls yet, do it by other means. Even if you don't like reading books, look at videos relating to dogs. Look at Cesar Milan teaching stuff. Look at other great, because Cesar Milan he has his own style. He has his own way of doing things that other great trainers disagree with. And I watch them. I learn. I watch those videos, not just Cesar Milan's, but even other trainers that are successful in their field that disagree with the way Cesar Milan trains the dogs and trains the people. And so I listen to all of them, and I try to learn both ways, or 3 ways, or 5 ways, or 7 ways. There's other, not just one. There's other people that call themselves whisperers. And they have different things that I don't I agree with, and then the things that I do agree with, and I see it as a useful tool. So get off your ass, start learning about dogs. You don't have a TV? Oh, go find a neighbor's dog, walk that dog, take that dog, and get to know that dog. Make it your friend. He'll teach you. First, he'll teach you how to understand dogs, and then he'll teach you other things. Bueno. All right. So this is Tony Montana. I'm going to leave it at here. Signing off.